Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Grifftastic, and we are here in Rustoria Base Invaders, sponsored by Rusty Pot. Joining me at the caster's desk today is Jamerson. Jamerson, how are you doing today?
Doing all right, man. It's been a few months since I've been able to cast any kind of Rust, so I'm excited to get back here on Rustoria's Base Invaders. And yeah, it looks like the action's already possibly starting. Two teams in the area right now, Griffin. It is going to be 5v5s for this week, starting off on EU. And the hard point in the middle of the map right now, Team Money, No Name, and one other squad currently involved. Right now, it's Zalupa that's actually got control over that hard point.
Yes, obviously, it does look like there have been bags placed inside the hardpoint, which isn't allowed. You're not really supposed to build in it, but I'm sure the admins will be on that eventually. However, of course, controlling that hardpoint will gain you points, whether you're getting kills or not. I believe it's 1 point every 30 seconds if the hardpoint is not contested. And obviously, teams are going to be wanting to farm those points early game to give them a head start going into the raid phase.
Yeah, currently we are in the attacking phase. We've got 30 minutes of this going on right now. So teams will be fighting over objectives like the hard point we see here. We've also got 3 attack helicopters that will be spawning across the map during this phase. And the crates from those will net you points right now. The simple fact that there is a person here for Team Money is going to be denying that access to the point that Zalupa were looking for. We'll see. Tiago with a nice little flank here might be able to take out Boxy.
We're going to see, of course, because the hardpoint is contested, having no points being dished out to the members. But now that Money has control over that hardpoint, timer's going to reset and the points are going to start accumulating for Money. As well as the attack helicopters, of course, we do have the Bradley APC tank spawning at the launch site, which will also net you some points.
Yeah, right now it doesn't look like there's too much action. If we can take a look around the map just to see where all of our bases are located, you can see that is the hard point, that yellow circle there on M10, N10. A lot of bases surrounding it right now. We've got, of course, bases built around launch site. Teams are fairly spread across the map so far, but you can see the clustering. So we're going to be expecting a lot of action, I'd imagine, around G7, H7, N7 up there in the snow as well. So nothing going on the south side of the map because really no objectives there. So yeah, a lot of our teams are within reaching distance of being able to go in for counter raids once we get to the raid phase. This is going to be a very explosive start, I think.
Absolutely, and we're going to zoom in here towards the attack helicopter that's currently orbiting Salty Boy's base, as it does look like another team, a co-set, has just shot down the heli, and now it's going to be a fight for control over those crates as we see Salty Boy's base directly beside it, but 2 members of a co-set are now moving in to try and take it, as well as Solovi about far back running in now.
Yeah, that's going to be Salty Boys with that advantage, with that helicopter going down basically outside of their base. They'll have, of course, the respawns to utilize here. Taking a look at some of the bases, though, we are seeing some chonkers. This is a 5v5, so you have a lot of members that were able to farm up, and we're seeing some pretty interesting designs. I think fairly more popularly, it's like a 5x5 core for a lot of our bases, but this one is a nice little circular design. I like it a lot.
Absolutely. I'm finding some issues, or not issues, sorry. I'm finding some good peaks as well. You know, you have the windows, you have the upper ones. However, those top roof peaks will expose your entire body while peeking over them. Not ones that I specifically like to use, but can be useful in a couple different situations.
Yeah, it looks like maybe they, kind of ran out of time, didn't get the embrasures down. They do have, it seems like outside, not outside, but connected rooms just in case to have some extra spawns if someone does get into their compound. And it's kind of surprising. Maybe they can ran out of time here because they ended up building with wood for those peaks up on the roof access. Salty Boys just trying to play from inside the safety of their base right now. Do have a few minutes for the fire to go down on those crates. Now, it's not about just getting the helicopter down. You need to secure that loot. Just go ahead and touch those crates, and you will start getting points. Speaking of points, we have some early leaders right now, don't we, Griff?
Absolutely. We did see Money, of course, controlling that hardpoint earlier, and it does look like that has put them into the first place slot as they continue to control that and farm passive points, as well as if other clans, of course, come to try and take that hardpoint. Any kills accumulated from controlling it will go towards their score. Continuing on, it does look like we're possibly going to see a blitz ahead in some of these teams, possibly from a co-set. Probably their best bet right now is to try and dash ahead and just keep touching the crates to get those points that would boost them into first place by getting those 15 points.
It's just something they can't do, though. With it being basically right outside of the Salty Boys base, and then having Solvi coming in from behind with that flank, they just get absolutely wiped out. The play here for Salty Boys might just be to just roof camp and get as many kills as you can as players get a little bit greedy for that. But Solvi are able to push up now. They've got the walls and or at least utilizing the walls that Akosit put down. And so it's kind of what happens during the gold rush, right? A lot of the first early frontiers men are the ones that end up giving their lives for the progress of the others.
Absolutely, and unfortunately, those others just weren't their team, as Sylvie is now, of course, moving in to try and claim those points. As we can see, ATL now looks like he's making a mad dash for those crates, as we see bots Jon Snow as well, but he's going to go down behind the wall as he tries to go for those crates, and does look like ATL is going to make a mad dash to try and accumulate them. Again, he just has to touch them. He doesn't have to secure any kind of loot. And it does look like he's going to get there basically undetected by the Salty Boys, and that is going to propel his team, I believe, into first place.
We'll see. Maybe he gets some extra boom out of here, so he might want to actually get out with all of this. I do love a lot of the upgrades that have come to Rust. It's been a few months that I've been able to play a proper wipe. The last wipe I believe I was able to play is when that update came in, where drops like the ammunition ended up getting their own little thing. And so it goes to show you how long it's been since I've been able to play. I mean, what have you been seeing, Griff? I feel like you've been able to cast a lot of the base invaders with a lot of the changes coming in. I don't know how much of it will change things like the attack helicopter or the parachutes, but has anything been changing in the base invaders front?
Unfortunately, nothing much. We have seen some advancements in the meta. We've started seeing the introduction of these outhouses where they'll be just connected to the base, but they'll have spawn rooms and lockers inside, basically having a bunch of mini bases surrounding your true base to give you some spawns. But unfortunately, none of the new items that we got in the air update, I believe, have been added to the loot table. None of the guided missiles, I don't think the attack helicopters in either.
Okay, that's good. I mean, it's still expensive, right? 2250 or around there. It's a lot of scrap. It's a lot of scrap. That's a big investment, even when you have like the accelerated whatchamacallit, drop rates and stuff. So yeah, no need for an attack helicopter when you can just scrappy in with your entire team here in fives right now. Looks like the hard point though, well controlled right now. A few teams are looking possibly to try and push out, but you can see with the amounts of bases around here, Zalupa, Coffee, we got Weed out here, No Name, all just getting involved in the PvP. Each kill on a player with a weapon will net you an additional point right now. And so some of these players, they're just happy to just bang.
Absolutely. We did see a spawn point already be put up, which is super strange this early in the game, but we're going to keep going here as we see No Name, I believe. Look at that little cluster of bags that they're spawning on. Fire, as well as the rest of his team, have controlled that little wall. I think they're calling that their outpost, as we see the rest of their team now backing up the hill as they start to get into a firefight with Zalupa and Coffee. As you see, basically, the entire Zalupa team directly in front of them, as Pops is able to take down Jay, but Toxic Bro is going to be able to fire back.
Yeah, And right now, it's jockeying for a position. A lot of these teams are maybe possibly eyeing up the bases, right? The attack phase sure is an opportunity for you to get points through the objectives or through PvP. But a lot of teams have their eyes set on from 20 minutes from now. They need to prepare for the raids. They need to find weaknesses in bases if they can try and maybe climb into the compound, get up roof control on these teams. Well, there's no roof control here because they're absolutely boxed in right now, losing out on some kits. We're going to see Weed now pushing up to try and finish them off.
Absolutely. It does look like he's going to move in to be able to take down one member of No Name and his partner. Now Weed's going to get a double kill there. And of course, having control of roof camping, like as you said before, being able to control somebody's base so early into attack phase is going to allow you to farm a lot of points. You see No Name just to respawn, as well as you having that control of the base and be able to use your boom very early into the raid phase to just secure that TC early.
And that would have been nice if he could have just gotten 2 more kills right there, walk away with about 6, 7 AK kits. Now, Vladislav is here, so maybe he can try and get some revenge for his teammate. Has a little bit of backup coming in from behind them, but No Name is coming out in force. A third player is showing up right now. Oh! Loses out on that 1v1. Toxic Bro is going to go ahead and pick that point up.
Down to 14 health too. It was close, and I do believe we are now going to be moving on. Let's take a look at some of these bases here as we see some of this firefight. We see Team Zalupa obviously having a long-range battle with Team Coffee, as we see some good peaks on their base. I'm liking that base. Obviously, 2 levels of barred windows to shoot from, as well as turrets in different areas to peek. Honestly, good base all around. I love the peaks, and that's usually what I like to touch on.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Like having the vertical embrasures, and then of course having the roof ramps there to give you some extra elevation as well. And I do like the double layered on their roof. Not the same kind of vision on this one, but we are seeing that, yeah, these chunky bases are coming out. This one looks to be, what's this, a 7x7? Probably a 5x5 core. Yeah, yeah. Shell, and then of course 2 layers of honeycomb on this one. You got the advent calendar walls going down. This one will be kind of beastly to try and take on. Team Coffee definitely spent a lot of time in preparation for this one. They have a nice area as well. Like just it's flat ground all around them. No one's going to be able to ret in trees around you. You got clear visuals all around your base.
We are going to move on to the SJN base, obviously utilizing that new Rust texture pack skins that we see. I believe that is the ship hauler, the cargo
The shipping containers, yeah.
Yeah. Quite nice. Obviously, a lot of different peaks to use from, as we can see, those vertical ones where you can get on top of the roofs, as well as the sideways embrasures, which we don't usually see very often. But it does look like they're going to be utilized quite well here.
Yeah, the horizontal embrasures typically used for some really nasty head peek angles where a lot of players aren't able to like respond back, and you just have a huge advantage from shooting inside, but shooting from the outside becomes extremely difficult. But that's not the case there for that one. I feel like maybe they might have had a different plan. Ooh, again, I love it. The texture pack, like you said, the shipping container coming in, really going to be able to distinguish a lot of our bases. I believe the last one was using what was it? The black shipping containers. This one's the yellow. So nice visual representation of what every team is bringing. That's going to be Team Gamuma going for a very circular design on this one.
Good downward peaks into their compound, as well as boxes underneath their embrasures so that they can crouch spam while they are gunning through their peaks, which is always good for recoil control. Let me tell you, standing and shooting through a vertical embrasure with an AK is one of the hardest things you can learn in Rust.
Yeah, visually, this is like one of my favorite bases so far.
Absolutely.
with how
great.
symmetrical everything is. They've got all the beds down. It looks like we just had the second attack helicopter going down as well. The last one was on the west side of the map. This one's in the middle of nowhere. Looks like Money was able to fly out here, pick this one up. He's got that scrappy as well. We'll see if anyone wants a challenge, but there are no bases in this area. So this might just be a free, 20 some odd points for Team Money.
Absolutely. There is no one here to contest. But I for some reason foresee just one man with nothing on him mini bombing into the attack helicopter and securing all the points.
The
I
thing is,
hope it
this is like quite a
happens.
bag too, right? Because there was 2 minis and a scrappy there, and all the boom that you probably get off the helicopter as well. So, like, if someone does come to counter, it could be actually a big payday for them. And the bags are going down for Knowles, though. He's not going to risk anything too much. And we've actually got a lot of cars. I don't know if they just showed up with like their entire
Ooh,
armada, the entire fleet. Maybe one player looking to counter this one. He got Slide and Crash over here, just playing very sneakily on the other side of this hill. So he might try to maybe steal this one away.
I bet he's going to be looking for a sight on Knowles as he can see the walls and the attack helicopter. He's going to want to get there fast as we can hear a mini behind him. It's the rest of his team. We are going to see a contest on this helicopter. It's currently a 3v1, but another member, Solvi, now coming up behind Knowles as Knowles is
Oh,
going to get 3 different AKs firing at him. He's going to
he
go down to
lived. He
70
only got
health,
hit
though.
like twice there, but now he's got to worry about the flanker as well. But he's got 3 in front of him. He's got to worry more about that first. Solvi, though, I don't know if he wants to get involved quite yet, show his hand. Maybe wait for the rest of his team to show up for this one. Knowles is doing a pretty good job. And now more of Solvi are showing up. We got ATL now coming in for the flank onto Knowles.
Oh, we're gonna see him getting the beam from Knowles from behind as ATL is gonna now push up with him. We now have 2 members of Solvi, and it does look like they are going to be pushing up to hopefully get those crates as we can see Sharky now starting to panic as we can see Knowles spawning behind them as well, possibly giving him an opportunity to maybe pick up some kits, grab a fallen AK of some kind, making his way around. Here's Makima now, moving up.
Quick wall, just keep himself alive.
Oh,
Oh, but
it's
not
not gonna
for
matter.
long. Oh, he just got doubled. He got absolutely crunched there. Solvi taking their time and now have full control over this. You play around the horse for now, throw down the wall. ATL staying alive for the time being. Knowles, though, getting a little bit of revenge there. Actually spawned in naked, able to pick up a kit from one of those downed players. Got a little bit of revenge. Now it's a 2v1. Knowles versus Solvi, but taking a look at this fire, this angle coming out from them, they're coming in left and the right-hand side. This is an uphill battle for Knowles.
So it's definitely going to be hard for him as we see ATL right next to the crates. If he's going to want to get those and secure those points, he's going to have to move fast as ATL is going to go down to 26 health. And Knowles not taking a single bullet from him. Knowles really showing his skill here as he continues to fight for those heli crates.
He's going to try and push up aggressively, but again, this crossfire being set up by Solvi right now makes it so incredibly hard to try and find an angle. That 1v1 again, Knowles is destroying ATL.
Absolutely, he's really just showing that pure Rust skill where he's drilled thousands of hours into controlling that Rico and being able to hit shots long range. As ATL is now panicking as I believe his teammate just went down. It's now a 1v1 to claim. Oh, sorry, 2v1 to claim these rates.
I mean, it was close. He was at 3 HP. There it is, the wide peak coming out. Solvi not able to finish off the job. But Knowles is really putting up a battle here in this 1v2. Again, we saw the other team, they flew in. So they might not have another mini helicopter to try and come back and counter this once again. ATL and Solvi just have not been able to find the critical damage onto Knowles. ATL is just going to go ahead and book it and get these points for their squad. They are currently in second place right now. I believe money have been activated on the hard point. Sharks are coming back. They're bringing in the scrappy for this. They took that personally.
The full team of Sharks just loaded up into a helicopter and have joined the battle as the mystery variable. And here they come in now, 5 members. Unfortunately, the crates just got looted. I don't think they care. I think they're there for the kills as they're now raining fire on the rest of the team. ATL is getting sprayed at by every member as he's going to go down to death, really. At one point, he was low, and then he just died. That was it. That was it for him.
Yeah. I think he was just looking for any last crate that he might have missed. He knew. Once you see the scrappy flying in with the boys, yeah, there ain't much else you can do. Now, we do have, of course, that last member of Solvi still alive. ATL has spawned in on a bag, but he's not going to be able to really secure a kid. I don't think too much fighting took place on that part. Sharks playing this one extremely cautiously, still walling up as they try to get into this 1v5 right now. Solvi, can he clutch up? There's a possibility. Makaba goes down. Solvi's still alive at 26 HP. Henry's gonna try and push up, and there we go. They finally take him out, and they'll secure their points. But really, they only got 2 throughout all of this.
Point, I think it's just for the reputation and not for the points at that point. And I think they just wanted to get revenge on the guys that were there. But moving back to the hard point, Money is now under attack from No Name. No Name and Money are currently fighting over the hard point, as well as Weed, possibly pushing in from the other side.
Yeah, at the very least, Sharks might be walking away with some boom, right? So hopefully they at least get that for themselves. There's I think another Scrappy for them to pick up too, so they won't
And
be
a
hard
third
pressed in
patrol.
terms of transportation. Yeah. All right, last attack helicopter has just spawned. That means 10 minutes to go until we hit up that raid phase. Here comes the push out. Money losing out on a few members as Weed finds one more kill. They don't have control over the hard point quite yet. It's a hard fought battle between 3 teams currently, and they are trading left and right.
See Money, sort of cling onto that hard point as best they can, but basically the entirety of Weed has moved on as it's turned into a 2v4 in Weed's favor, as we can see one Weed member, no gun, but trying to find one as he goes around for the flank.
Little trigger happy there, tagging his teammate Arnetta. Oh, is able to get that 1 point for himself. Remember, you have to be armed, you have to have a gun to count as a kill towards points. So that second kill doesn't quite count, but at least puts him on timer, gets some pressure off on that hard point, trying to squeeze out as many points as possible. Money was able to control it for a very long time throughout our attack phase here. That put them into first place. Solvi, though, playing the objective game, taking a lot of those helicopter crates at second place now with 86, along with all the PvP that came with it.
Absolutely, we do see a monumental difference between the top 2 and the rest. We can see that Solvi is basically doubled Weed's points as well. We don't usually see people hit the hundreds of points in the attack phase, but today apparently is just that day. As we see Money now continue to try and fight for that control point, but Weed has basically surrounded the entire team. Tiago's going to get 1 kill though.
Yeah, it's just down to Tiago to hold it down for Money right now. He's left in a 2v1 over this. All this, no one is, of course, accruing points on that hard point with 7, almost 8 minutes left to go here in the attack phase. Really got to set the stakes here. What these points mean for the squads. Once we get into the raid phase, right, where you're able to get into your team, into your enemy's bases and hunt down their TCs. Every TC you destroy is going to be 40 points. So for a team like Money, for a team like Solvi right now that are sending on 190 points respectively, that's 2 TCs that they've effectively been able to earn for themselves in the last 23 minutes.
And controlling that hard point is going to continually passively generate those points, but they just can't seem to reclaim it, as we see Tiago now looting a body to hopefully give himself a fighting chance against the Weed members. As we see Monkey now running towards him, this could be the end for Tiago as he keeps looting, but Monkey doesn't seem to notice him. Tiago's going to have a dance with death there as Tiago runs away, but here comes Toxical now. He's going to get a flank around, but Toxical's going to take him down. One last member of Money in the entirety of the attack point. We see Nerm now rolling up on Toshalv as he's going to go down. Nope, now Knowles is here. They're making sure that we cannot get those points. They're making sure, obviously, by contesting the hard point and not letting anybody in, or sorry, at least having one guy in, that they cannot farm those points, that they stay where they are. Which is
they're continuing to just kind of like grub in, just get in there, deny the points. And it's important because Weed are currently in third place right now with 56 points. And so denying them that basically puts a TC lead between money and weed right now. We do have our final attack helicopter going down. It's going to be bots in control of the area right now. And they only really have to worry about one basically avenue of approach. You can see this is on the west side of the map, I believe, launched just off on the distance there. So there are a lot of teams in the area that could try and come and contest this. But with 5 minutes left to go, I don't know if you want to take that risk. You leave your base vulnerable to try and fight for these points.
Absolutely. And they are going to be able to control that, but we are going to see Trax #1 moving in, as well as Bibi Zian out there on the far north. Gigi now just running around completely oblivious to the two members rolling up to the helicopter. He needs to go touch those crates and secure those points for his team before he gets countered. Ooh. He's going to get sprayed at. He's going to be able to put up a wall, though, to save his life. The rest of his team now coming back to help. Both of them are going to take a little bit of damage here.
Basically, being on this cliffside means that you really only need to look in one direction, and he's kind of hopping around almost AFK at that point, but those shots did, of course, drag his attention, try to push up without any walls, and then he gets shot from that other player that you were talking about, from BBZian right now, but he's got the backup. I can't even say that name. I literally just cannot say that name. It looks like they will be able to clean him up.
Not in English. Unfortunately, I cannot translate to any other language that is not English. Not multi. Do not know multiple languages. Sorry. But it does look like Bots is going to continue that control. We're going to see Trax #1 as well, getting surrounded by two members of Bots, Bots K and Bots G. They move in. #1's going to go down to 25 health, and here's G to go in and quickly finish him off as he's healing. And down he goes, another point to get, as Bots is probably going to be able to hit those crates, giving themselves another 15 points.
Yeah, 4 minutes left to go. I don't think anyone really wants to like leave their base, or they're preparing for a raid themselves, right? Like, sure, these can be nice points, but you do not want to be caught outside of your base when it starts getting raided. You don't want to be put on timer as soon as the defense starts. Trax, though, never mind. They don't care. 3 members out now. You got Equinox, Sousa, and Ferenz. K is left on his island there, but he's got the backup of his squad all the way back. He's just keeping an eye on them. Maybe he can escape off with this mini. Ooh, Ferenz. He peaked for a moment and was dropped down to about 10 HP. G hitting some nice shots there from across the ways.
We're going to see the rest of Trax has moved in. They're going to be contesting those crates, as we see K and G moving up to cover the base. K's going to go down but not out. G's going to probably run up and try to get a res with his teammate, as Sousa is going to go around to try and finish them off. This could be the disaster that G has, and but G's going to be able to get him. Some quick headshots and quick thinking from G, as he's able to stop the res and take him down quickly before he's able to get killed, as Equinox is currently pinned, but it does look like he's going to be able to make a mad dash before he walls. Now K and G both up in that little walled off area, waiting for somebody to try and push.
It's just great coverage coming out from the rest of the bot squad, having your anchors basically all the way in the back, keeping an eye on your left and your right. Equinox might be pushed into a 2v1 here, but he does have numbers coming back. We can't quite see if he's got a kid on him. He does have a gun at the very least. K's got to be careful in how he takes the peek, because Ferenz is on the other side of this one, holding that angle right now. And it looks like bots might get cleaned up. Trax is trying to push up. They have taken out one other player here. Now it looks like full force. Bots will end up losing out on K, but they end up securing the bag, at the very least, back here at that attack helicopter.
Does look like they're going to use their teammate G possibly as a storage system. Obviously, him respawning and having a fully empty inventory, he's going to be able to grab those crates. But we are going to see Jon Snow go down to very low health there. 38 at one point. He was at 12, though. Definitely going down low on health, as they are going to make an escape, but unfortunately leaving one crate behind. I don't know whether they tapped it or not, but definitely not getting that loot as G runs away.
Yeah, maybe it was just like an attachments crate. I'm pretty sure we've actually gotten rid of the attachment crates. But
that would be nice, yeah. With the
They
M39,
secured all of it
oof.
essentially, and so that puts them at 4th place with a minute left to go here in the attack phase. So 60 points for them. It does seem like we have 2 other teams that have cracked that triple digits. That's going to be Solvi and Money at 109 and 101 respectively. Now, taking a look at some of the
Ooh.
bases before we get into the raid phase. Oh yeah, I heard your visceral response to this base. What's going on here, Griffin?
Okay, so there's a couple of flaws with this base. Number one, there is a hole in their roof where they have just placed ladders instead of a ladder hatch, which is slightly problematic if you want to keep people out of your base in general, as well as an unfinished stone compound, which gives them direct access into the base. It does look like the team has just straight up abandoned the base to go do PvP, but there is nothing they could do. I'm
Yeah,
wondering
they
if
might have
it's
just
possible
run out of
that
time in the build phase.
yeah.
Time does tend to get away from you. I forget how long we exactly have, but this is fives. You know, maybe everyone's not like on the same page. Oh boy, it looks like we might have our first raid targets. A few seconds left to go, and here we go. We are heading in to the raid phase, and the boom is
First
starting.
rocket
Coffee on
immediately fire.
G-Fog's base right now, and they are pummeling it. They only have 4 players inside. 1 player might actually be on timer already.
Wow, Coffee immediately going for G-Pog, as well as G-Pog doesn't exactly have the strongest base. It looks like a lot smaller than some of the others that we've seen so far, as well as the peaks not being quite up to what I would call base invader standards, but they are just going to keep pummeling through. We're going to see garage doors immediately. Wow, they are just hitting this thing as hard as they can, hard and fast as they can. You're going to see doors get broken, as well as that giant cavity that we always see. It's the thing that always happens. We continuously, obviously, see rockets immediately get thrown into that one little hole to make that giant
like
cavity
an open core, almost like an open core. So there's not that much. This is not a chunky base at all, and it is getting torn right open right now. You can see so much of it exposed. Even the beds, if they can take out the beds, take out some of the spawns of the GPOG members, is going to make this raid even easier. When we get a moment, I'd like a quick look at the map just to see if there's any other bases around here for counters. And it doesn't look like it. No. This is on the other side of power plant. There are no bases around here. No one's going to come to counter this one. This is an absolute free raid for Coffee. They need to utilize those roof peaks somehow or something to try and push out. But you can see the unrelenting pressure coming out from Coffee right now. They're absolutely laying waste to the space.
Absolutely. Actually, it does look like GPOG is not going to have the best time in their base invaders experience, as we did see, of course, their base get blown open basically at the start. We are going to see Coffee user run up and throw C4 on the stone compound, which means Coffee is getting prepared to roll in, place down some ladders, and start blowing doors. So we are going to see that compound go down. As I said, GPOG is scrambling to do whatever they can to hopefully counter. We are going to see them utilizing their peaks as more rockets get thrown. Their base is starting to go into shambles.
Yeah, we'll see how much of a defense this base can put up, if they can try and buy some time. But you can see the first breacher going in. That's going to be Pops, taking a lot of damage, laddering up right now. Sunny's going to try and hold it down from the inside. We do have Fonzie up on the roof right now, trying to utilize these peaks. But Coffee, they've sent 3 members in. They've got 2 anchors on the outside, keeping tabs of the GPOG members. Yellow, though, with a nice little peek down, does some damage. But it looks like Wawa will survive. Coffee is inside, and he is booming.
Absolutely. Rockets hitting. They are just going to keep rocketing through those very nice Christmas-themed garage doors as they keep going. I think GPOG is as good as gone here. There's not much they can do. Immediate raid off the bat by what looks to be an experienced team by Coffee.
Wait.
And
there might be counterers. I think I saw Team Trax actually on the other side of this hill. So maybe I spoke a little bit too soon. Here comes Equinox and Trax now and out in full force. Number 1 has already pushed up and Coffee have to respond. Trax does end up going down, but now Coffee, they've got some wrench thrown into the works here. It's a full 5-man of Trax coming for the counter.
Absolutely. Coffee's really going to want to move quickly here as they continue going. But we are going to see a massive little mosh pit of death there as G-Pug moves up to try and help. But G-Pug is going to be able to claim that area as their sort of safe haven as we see three members now healing up to hopefully get themselves back in the fight as Coffee now has to respond towards tracks. It gives G-Pug a little bit of time to recuperate, get people on peaks, get everybody a gun, and get going again. Because they need to be ready, because once at least one team has become sort of that victor and won that little area, they are going to immediately start raiding again.
Importantly as well, they were repairing. They were getting down doors. They were getting down extra garage doors from what was already blown open. Taking a look at some of the other raids right now, it's going to be Weed going after the no-name base. Have already opened up the compound. Rockets are going in. They haven't been able to expose the core quite yet. They're still working on that, but No Name are at least responding. They've got some defenders on the roof currently, but inside of their compound, it is not controlled whatsoever. You can see Vladislav is here. They're starting to make headway through these doors. Now No Name pushing out. Vladislav is ready to respond, and he takes out the defender.
Wow. Fast, really fast. He's able to sort of claim that little area below as Weed's territory as they are going to move in. Vladislav is now inside the base. I believe a door was either blown open or left open. Blown open. And he's now inside the advent calendar core room as he's going to immediately start throwing C4. I think that's his only option right now. We are going to see every door in the place get a C4 stuck to it. Does not look like we found TC quite yet, as Vladislav was forced to retreat, but we do see Monkey now. Here's Vladislav. He's going to keep going with his advent calendar doors. No Name NN there going in. He's going to get the drop on Vladislav, but he's going to immediately get beamed by a Team Monkey.
Yeah, Monkey coming in as the second breacher for the squad. No Name do have beds inside of their core, and so they're trying to respawn and get back in here, but again, they are not relenting on the pressure, sending another player in. It's going to be Toxical now to back up Monkey in the 2v1 here out of that calendar doorways, and Monkey wins out the 1v1. So they still have basic control over this space right now. They're even going to send a third member. Vladislav is back, and he's got the launcher to his back too. So he should start making quick work of all of these doors right now and start booming with the splash.
And again, they're going to keep going after those advent calendar doors as they try to find that TC again. TC being worth 40 points, but we are going to see... Who is that? Cantorins? Yeah, Cantorins, led by Solvi, which is going to propel them to first place by over 60 points ahead of Monkey.
That's huge because Solvi were one of our top leaders coming out of the attack phase. So getting that plus 40 from that team is going to be huge. And we know how big getting these early raids can be, right? When a team hasn't been able to try and go out and raid for themselves, well, all that loot is still up for grabs. They'll be able to secure that for themselves, kind of snowball into the next raid. Hopefully they have another target for themselves. They're currently at Solvi in the lead. Money right behind them. Well, not quite right behind them. There's about a 60-point difference between them and first place. But Weed right now, they might be able to catch up, get another plus 40 here if they can finish off this raid.
Absolutely, and they need to do it fast as I'm fearing some counters might be coming. You can see a lot of different names in the distance. But they are going to keep throwing C4 as we see Monkey clearing that area as he's probably going to run back, maybe grab some C4 and keep pulling those advent calendar walls. They probably should have one man going through the core, you know, hitting all the garage doors just to see if they've done something sneaky where they've placed the TC on the core, which isn't usually what happens, but has happened sometimes in the past.
Wait, it looks like it might actually be full control for Weed. They've got the roof as well. So the entire team basically inside have breached. And they have dealt with a lot of the beds. We saw the beds inside of the core being taken out as well. And so it is just full control. Looks like No Name might be on timer here. Just one player alive on the roof right now, but he can hear the boom slowly creeping up towards him. He might not survive long here.
Absolutely, having that roof control will give them the ability, and a much better ability, really, to be able to fight back against those raids. It's a good area to control from. It's a good area to stop the counters in their tracks. As it does look like that's what they're doing. They're trying to go up and up and up to get to those roof spawns and stop anybody from trying to take their raid.
Ooh.
Oh, we are going to see TC.
There it is. There it is. A lot of boom was used on this one. A lot of C4 to try and get through this advent calendars, but ultimately it was on the roof there. No Name will be eliminated by Weed. That's going to pop them up into second place now above Team Money. I believe those were the two squads that were fighting over the hard point throughout the attack phase, and it's now Weed taking the lead up against them. Back at this Team Coffee base, looks like Team Fun now. They've got their raid platform set up. Right now, they are currently just getting through the honeycomb of this base. Coffee do have a few members on the outside, a few members on the roof trying to push out. This seems like a pretty good defense so far.
Absolutely. We did see Coffee, of course, being the first people to start raiding, I believe. They were able to get the GPOG's base early on, but they are going to be being raided now, possibly punishment for raiding so early, as we see Fun go up and be able to fire one rocket at, I believe, an auto turret before immediately going down. Coffee user as well, going up to try and help and get that teammate as more and more rockets are going to fly into that compound. It is possible, because they're blowing through walls instead of doors, that they are going to expose TC before even entering the base. We've seen it happen before, and I'm hoping that we see it today. As you see Coffee Espresso all firing back at that raid platform. If they are able to take out that raid platform, they will have no spawns and they will have no way of getting back in the game, and that is currently Coffee's main objective.
Yeah, one member of Coffee, Pops, has pushed out onto that raid platform right now. He's basically on top of them in the 1v1, takes out one more. I believe there might be final player here. It's going to be Dennis on the other side of this wall. Doesn't hear him quite yet. Huge flank. No, it's the help coming out from a counterer. SJN is going to make this defense so much easier right now as they clear out all the beds. Successful defense coming out from Coffee will net them the points once that the raid area does end up going down. So nice defense coming out from Coffee here. But as soon as we tuned into this raid, we could see that they had their bases covered. They had their base covered. People were pushing out. We had a defender on top of the roof.
Oh, no.
Even though their compound was taken, you know, it was a pretty solid defense. Now taking a look at this base. Oh my goodness. Doors left open. Everything is just here. Bots looking just to finish things off.
Well, this was the base that I was talking about. Obviously, having that hole in your compound is a bit of an issue, as well as having an open roof. Again, I think they just ran out of time, and it's going to punish them hard. BB Zion is going to be raided basically entirely, as they've now made it into their honeycomb. It does look like the turrets weren't even turned on or powered. I see no power lines. I don't see them operating. I don't think I even saw a gun in them, which really goes to show, you know, you really need to manage your time well during the build phase. As more and more of these advent calendars get blown up, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this team eliminated any second.
Yeah, I didn't see any beds. I didn't see any bags. I don't even think they have any spawns inside of this base right now. So this should be a free one. Doesn't mean you can just miss your C4s, Jon Snow. You got to finish these off. But they will eventually be able to get themselves the plus 40. They are currently sitting in fourth place, about 50 points behind Team Money. And so that will be a nice little boon for them to try and catch up with the rest of the lobby.
Absolutely. It's good for them as well. You know, getting that TC will be great for Team Bots, as BB Cyan eliminated by Bots. As Bots, it doesn't even look like is... Oh, no, never mind. Fourth place with 120 points, 10 points behind Money, and 60 points behind Solvi. We are going to see Team Mom in 17th place with 18 points. Let's go to another raid at P11. We are going to see Team Sharks under attack by Team Money.
Yeah. All of Sharks are alive at the very least on their roofs right now. Team Money, this is going to be a difficult one to try and go for, because you can see counter is going to just come from behind. It's Team Weed right behind them, and they have already showed up. Now the trigger discipline coming out, not quite taking the shots yet. There we go. Little combat wall going down. So Money, this raid might already be over. Raid platform exposed to the flank here. Tolshov can just wait for the rest of his team. This is a really bad spot for Money.
Absolutely, as well as Sharks having a great defense. We see obviously that full stone compound as well as a solid base and a good little defense, as well as we now see Sharky and Shoes has moved in, possibly trying to get a gun and some boom off of the body to take out their raid platform, but Weed is going to be able to take him down and possibly alert the money team as of his whereabouts, which could have bit him in the butt there.
Yeah, for Weed, they might actually just be able to take over the raid. It might not just be a counter. It might just be actually be a full takeover on that raid. Over here at the coffee side, they were able to defend earlier on. It looks like another raid might be coming their way. Gamuma involved in a raid of their own right now up against Team Mom. This one is not the biggest of bases. It looks like it's going to be a 3x3 core. So Gamuma actually still have a lot of work cut out for them. This is a tall base. This is actually quite a tall base for fives.
Yeah. As well as, and I still don't understand why they keep putting them down, but we have that stone platform bear again, Rust physics kicking in. Always one of my most favorite parts of the game. But we see those stone platforms surrounding. I still don't understand the point of those. I've played in a couple Base Invaders in my time, and I can say that without a doubt, my team and I never saw the point, never put them down. But Gamora is basically going to have full control over this base. We saw little to no pushback from Mom, as they are now just starting to spawn in when they should have been here a very long time ago. As Gamora is going to keep booming. We are going to see Gamora in 9th place with 52 points. This could propel them into, well, pretty high up in the leaderboard into 5th place, around 100.
Yeah, this raid's a little slow goings here, as they're not opting for the C4 yet to go through these doors, just slowly utilizing those rocket launchers. But you can see that access to the roof, not quite the best, because it is all just ladders essentially to make your way up and down. We do have actually a second member of Mom spawning up on the rooftop right now, trying to get kitted up for this defense. But again, they're just slow pickings. I'm surprised they haven't at least cleared out the beds, so they don't have to worry about that in the future. But looks like that is finally going to be their priority. Get rid of these spawns, make it that much easier for themselves.
Absolutely, and obviously Gamora's pretty much got this entire raid unlocked. I think I see one Mom member in total. I'm wondering if maybe some of the team disconnected or something like that. Maybe is something obviously went awry with Mom's plans, as they are just not doing all too well. Little to no pushback, as we are going to see one member go down immediately to aw yeah. And honestly, I think this base is as good as gone.
Yeah, I think they're just on timer. I have seen about 4 different Mom players spawning in, but yeah, with full control over the base, losing out on their spawns. You saw more beds going down there as well. Yeah, Team Trax though, we saw them countering, I believe, that G-Pog raid earlier on. They're able to take it over, secure that TC for themselves. I think also Coffee, they had to give up on their raid because they were getting raided themselves, and they had to go back to defend. So a lot of things working against Coffee, unfortunately. Still, though, they are tied for 5th place with Trax. So that actually throws some salt in the wounds there for Team Coffee. The fact that the raid that they started was the reason why Trax now are tied with them.
Absolutely, and we are going to keep going, as we are going to see them prioritizing getting those auto turrets so they can go onto the roof and start looting. But Mom Hizer also up there, possibly looking for a peek on Gamora. This could be a quick comeback. It doesn't look like they are aware that Hizer is there. He's going to fire a couple bullets. No hits. I believe he's going to do a quick wrap around, looking for somebody outside. Possibly a drop of, as we see Nunu now spawning in. He's going to go straight down to his death. Wow. Quick spawn from Nunu, but he just jumps down and immediately dies. Not even attempting to get a gun.
Yeah. Now the loot is up there, right? They do have all those boxes to play with, so maybe he was a little bit worried, or maybe he was just trying to go for some YOLO play, drop down, hope for a gun. But he's doing a good job. He's utilizing these angles extremely well, and actually pushing back some of the members of Gamuma. They only have 2 players inside of the base right now. You can see Straffy and 123 actually spawning on their raid platform. So they got to come back for this one. So the fact that Gamoon were just taking their time allowed the respawns to come back in. So Mom actually have an opportunity here to come back and defend this. 4 members are up right now. You got FNZ, Slava, Hizzy, and Nunu coming in from the outside now. So Gamuma, without that lack of efficiency, are starting to lose out on this raid.
Absolutely, and honestly, I think they should have had more people with boom. I think I only ever saw one guy with a launcher, and I'm wondering if that's all they thought they were going to need or something, but they should have been faster, and I think you're right.
And that's strange because what they've got Straffy on their team, right? And Straffy's quite the veteran when it comes to base invaders here. So should have known a little bit better, but maybe the weird wonky base design, the fact that it's a weird 3x3 core kind of threw them off on how much time they can take for this raid. Now taking a look at another raid, I believe a lot of progress already made here. They are in to this base.
This base is massive, by the way. It is so wide. Not quite the tallest one that we've seen, but holy, massive, huge base for them. As we are going to see that the shooting corridors obviously open to give cover, but it is a mosh pit of a couple different teams. Obviously Salty Boys, but as well we are going to see Solvi and how do you say that? Akasit, I believe, as well as here. So 3 different teams all fighting for the base. So this is Salty Boys just trying to keep control. They are going to see a lot of boom going down these doors because you are going to try and find that TC. Salty Boys not currently in the top 10 either, so this could just be a quick raid, them trying to target a lower fronted team as they're going to be going through those well-end doors. No TC found quite yet. I have to go with garage doors, as although it makes obviously having 2 C4 to blow through usually a lot more expensive, as well as takes up way more room than just a single door.
For Solvi, though, they are making quick work of these doors as well. And so right now, no one quite ready to defend this one. I forget exactly which base this is, who the defenders are. But yeah, like you mentioned, a lot of teams are here. Salty Boys. Okay, I've seen 2 members still alive, but Akaset, one of the counterers coming in, we're able to push into the breach, get into that core. And now things are not looking great for the initial raiders here. A lot of booms on their body as well. So you might want to just go ahead and pick that up and continue to raid.
On, do see Solvi continuing to sort of circle that base and giving them that control, as you are going to see Pilot take down another member, but he is full naked, obviously, which is going to be challenging to protect himself as we see another Solvi member move in. This Salty Boys base is obviously that huge cavity, as well as so many doors being gone. This is not going too well for them, and not going according to plan, as Solvi has really taken over the base.
Yeah, Solvi coming back. Akaset had a moment there. They only have 1 player now inside of the core. He might try and lurk and find an opportunity when the rest of his boys respawn. But for now, for Solvi, they get their boom back. They're going to go ahead and continue to try and boom through this base. There aren't too many doors left at this point. They've made short work of basically this level. They need to move on to the next one now. You can see how quickly they are moving throughout all of this. I'm loving the efficiency coming out from them. We saw in the other raid just before this one, if you take way too long, if you're too slow, the counterers come in and you end up losing out on that raid. For Solvi, though, they are making sure that they keep up the pace. You can see that 1 member of Akaset that was lurking is still alive here and actually has taken out a few members of Solvi.
Absolutely, and good on him, as Akaset Yolo Pausu is doing his best. He is going to get the surprise attack on a Solvi member, as well as Ugly Steven. But it doesn't look like it's going to matter. He's going to be able to pick up 1, but it's eventually going to go down. We see 2 members of Salty Boys as well trying to move in. We saw 1 over there to the left, as well as Hot. I can't read that. It's in so many different versions of letters, but he's going to go down immediately. It does look like he's trying to put up an effort to keep this base, but I think they're just waiting on more boom as they continue to hold it.
Oh man, it looked like that 1 member of Akaset actually putting up a better defense than the Salty Boys throughout all of that. He ended up taking about 5 people down before he ended up falling, but now he does have to go back to his squad because it looks like Their base is the next one on the chopping block, as they do have their core already opened up, but they've pushed out. And so it might actually be a raid defense coming out from them. You can see Yolo Pasu is spawned in. Yeah, Yuki going to get cleaned up. Deathwing as well going down. So it was Team TS trying to go after that Akaset base, but that's going to be a defense for them. They'll be able to pick up the points for that raid defense, and that's always a good sign whenever you see members outside with guns. Gomuma, though, looks like going for a raid defense at this point. SJN, we saw them creeping up a little bit earlier on, but Gomuma are ready for it. They're outside of their compound right now, trying to push out onto that raid platform. Taking a look at Team Money, though, they've got to start defending. Our third place team right now getting raided by, look like, Zalupa.
Yeah, Zalupa firing rockets now to the side of that base. We are going to see as well Sharks are going to be continuing to raid by Weed off there in the distance, but that cavity now being opened up inside of the base, it does look like they have insight to that roof. It's possible that they're going to start shooting rockets maybe a little bit higher to start hitting those beds and start hitting those crates so that they can eliminate those spawns, but it does look like that Zalupa is already in the base, and I don't think that Money realizes as C4 is going to start getting placed. It is possible that we might see a TC go down here. We see that wooden ladder headed up to the doors. In case you didn't know, the TC has to be able to be reached just by walking. So whether that be through open doors, whether that be through opening doors and going up ladders, sorry, it has to be accessible. So oftentimes teams will place a wooden ladder that will immediately get destroyed so that they can hide that TC on the third floor. We did see that ladder. It could be that dead giveaway that TC is up there.
Yeah, this is a good raid so far coming out from Zalupa because they've got Voxy inside with that C4, and the Raiders did a great job of dealing with the roof, right? So from the angle that they approached from, they got rid of the roof ramps. There's no angle to really try and peek them, so the defense becomes even harder. Defending from the ground on a raid can be incredibly difficult here. And now Zalupa are sending in an additional member here to try and help speed up this raid from the inside out. You can see the rockets getting tossed on over to Donito. So now two players are going to try and work their way from the inside through this space while three members hold down and continue to pummel from the outside. The Rockets have slowed down just a little bit, but you got to imagine that they can take their time now. Oh, they're going for the roof now.
Does look like it. We are going to see that door get blown, and unfortunately no TC. It looks like I was wrong, but Zalupa's going to keep going anyways. You're going to see them possibly going through either the roof or the next door, like you said. More C4 going onto that one ramp, obviously blocking them from going up. Good ramp, by the way, as Money is going to continue to try and control their roof, but that cavity that's been made just gives them a straight sight line in there, possibly going to send a rocket maybe at that generator to turn off the turrets, but Zalupa now has a huge control into the lower levels. As Anita's going to go down, Money Tier is going to try his best to hold this down, as well as Tiago trying to find some kind of loot as he gets sprayed at. Voxy does look like he's going to be going up on the roof. However, they are going to be wanting to bomb out that generator to hopefully get rid of the auto turrets as to not get bombed.
Can't quite tell, but I think one of the turrets is already off. I only see one of them on right now. Yeah, only one turret is actually currently on. Now, our bases are limited to 3 auto turrets. As you can see, all 3 are up here, but only one is activated. And so this is going to be very difficult now to try and hold on to this roof. That could be the money turret that keeps their beds alive. They desperately need these spawns on the rooftop. You can see the beds are there. If those go down, this might just be game over for Team Money. So despite having a quite nice base, we are starting to see some of the weaknesses right now. Zalupa have slowed down just a little bit. They lost out on Voxy, but he has respawned. He's getting back in. And I was thinking maybe there would be counterers here, but you can see just off to the distance, Team Weed are going after Sharks currently. So no, counterers for this most part. Zalupa have a free raid on their hands right now.
Absolutely. And one of the issues that I think they had is they, instead of having maybe you know what, maybe it's not an issue, maybe it's a better feature, but it looked like they had 3 generators, and on entry, one of the generators was blown up during the raid. One generator per auto turret, as well as one being destroyed just by them getting to the roof. So that could explain only having one auto turret open. However, it does look like you're going to be going through garage doors to be looking for that TC, as we see Zalupa firing more rockets into this base. This base is definitely having some issues, as Tier's going to go in to try and make a counter. He is going to get one before having to, unfortunately, pull back, opening the door and closing it, giving him that opportunity as 2 members of Zalupa. It looks like a little bit of friendly fire, but they are going to kill another member of Money as they keep going in. It does look like they're going to be going through these garage doors next.
They're starting to spawn from the outside bag, so that is not a good sign for them being timered from the outside now, losing out on one more, even leaving that door open, making it that much easier for them to continue this raid. The boom has slowed down though, and so that's not the best of signs. The Lupa needs to start picking up the pace here, as the defenders might find an opportunity to fight back into this one. It looks like Sharks was eliminated, so yeah, they definitely need to pick up the pace here before we to move on to possibly come into counter, especially with the proximity of that last raid.
And something that I did not expect happening, Weed has made a comeback, and that has put that TC going down, has put them into first place. Just barely, I believe, by just 3 points. Sylvie at 238 and Weed at 241. But wow, that is a comeback that I was not expecting. I believe Weed was more than 100 points behind Sylvie, but they've just come back.
Yeah, getting a lot of PvP kills, getting the plus 40. That's massive for Team Weed. And if they can get this counter, on this raid, that would be absolutely huge for them. Money, though, have complete control now of the rooftops. It looks like they were able to do some decent work and get their players back on up. As you can see, that for now, most of the boom has stopped. Now, they just need to find some kits for themselves. And there it is, the raid platform going down, getting finished off. Money with the defense, Zalupa with only 1 player inside. And going back over to the Salty Boys. Looks like they were able to mostly defend. Solvi are here, though. Never mind, they are all over this base. Kind of misread that one. And so now we'll see if Solvi can catch up. They are only down by about 7 points, so PvP alone will allow them to catch up to Weed, and the TC will go ahead and give them that lead.
Absolutely, it does look like Solvi has that shooting floor / roof control, as they are going to be descending into different levels, obviously looking for that TC, that 40 points. Hell, even if they get into a nice fight here, that will put them back into first and sort of give them a lot of breathing room, and that is sort of what they are looking for right now as they continue to blow through the doors. Solvi's worst nightmare right now is somebody rolling up and trying to raid them, or possibly having this raid stolen. Really, they need this raid right now to put themselves back into first.
Yeah, they thought they might have seen something with the armored door, and nope. They go straight into where they raided in from. But hey, it's all progress. You got to make your way through this space, 1 door at a time, 1 rocket at a time. This is 5, so it's not quite like the pummeling meta that we'll see when we have the bigger squads, right? When we get the 8s and 7s, where teams are just absolutely able to lay waste to a base by just rocket pummeling, having like 2-3 launchers on people. We'll see those Salty Boys. Can they defend? They do have 1 player inside, but Melmen actually spawning in from behind. Wait, there's an opportunity. They do have 2 players on the outside of this compound with guns. And so Solvi might have slowed down just a little bit too much. It's only going to be Steven alive for his squad up top right now, as Solvi are respawning back in on the raid platform right now. They just need to stay alive, clear up the members on the outside. Steven with a nice little kill from that roof, well, from the shooting floor, is going to make it that much more difficult for the defenders.
Absolutely, Solvi doing well. Ugly Steven, obviously, 99 health up there in the shooting floor. It does look like he's going to be sort of trying to cover his team as they move up. He did see those guys outside and did fire back a little bit, but now Salty Boy is trying to sort of retake and control the inside of the base. Johnny, and again, still not going to attempt to say that name. Obviously, controlling that top area gives them great control over the entire base. Sure, they might be able to patrol around the inside, but not being able to or be able to cover their teammates who are running back in after a fresh respawn to hopefully aid the raid is a great utility, as well as now two members in the top of the roof, as Ugly Steven's going to be able to 1v2 and take them both down.
Someone just needs to get on roof. I mean, I feel like, you know, the reason why they decided to go after this space was because of all the thatch. There was actually a lot of thatch walls on the outside of this base as well. You can see on the rooftop. Just get someone on the roof, start shooting down, take out all the thatch, and make it that much easier for themselves. So we'll see if maybe possibly get into core. No. That's just like some sort of pancake layer. It's a cabana for the retreat. When you want to take a break from the raid, go ahead and get yourself a mojito, lay out in the sun.
Always good. And unfortunately, I don't think there's any time to take a break from the raid now, as they continuously hit these doors to try and find that TC. Sylvie's having a lot of trouble finding this TC. They just can't seem to find it.
Yeah, another armored door, but is that just a bait? Solvi, you got time. There we go. We're getting the C4 going down now to try and get through this as quickly as possible. It looks like maybe the defense was the small little hiccup that slowed them down. That armored door leading to the outside. They're going to try and splash through this garage, though, and that's just a jump up. So they've already exposed all of that. So now it's all just a guessing game. So many doors. That's currently the meta, or has been the meta for some time now here in Base Invaders. Just try and get some baitage going out. It looks like maybe one of the defenders might have gotten a kill. No, Solvi survives. That's going to be ATL. Still alive inside of the core of this base. Salty Boys just don't have any spawns. They're on timer. It's become so difficult. The only thing that they can pray for now is going to be a counter, but I don't see anything in the works quite yet.
Absolutely, and they're going to continue to try and control that. I did hear the M249 being brought out by somebody. I can recognize those gunshots anywhere, let me tell you. But I do see a lot of double doors on the layer above, and I'm thinking that's where the TC's been hidden. But they are going to try and continue to clear the doors. They are going to be looking at the next armored door here.
Yeah, and speaking of that M2, right? The simple fact that Solvi were playing a lot more of the objectives, right? Going after a lot of the attack helicopters. That's one of the also reasons why that you want to go after that, just for the chance that you end up getting the M2. We know how strong the M2 is, but when it comes to raiding and defending, the M2 is one of the ultimate tools for that. Solvi, though, now the ultimate tool in this defense is just the simple fact that they have so many doors on this base for Salty Boys. Despite not being able to mount much of a defense, being able to get back into their base, get spawns, get guns in the hands of the defenders. Simple fact that their base is actually deceptively large, and slowing down Solvi is the only thing keeping them alive right now.
Absolutely, and they're going to try, really just, they're doing their best to find this TC, but like you said, the base is absolutely massive. It's so wide, and there's so many different areas to check to continue to boom. I think they think it's in this corner, but they just can't seem to find it. Obviously hitting everything. We're going to see a door get open, and a member of Salty Boys take a rocket to the face. Solvi's going to continue on, though. Salty Boys doing what they can to retake. We are going to see a member, I believe, on the roof, possibly another one in the shooting floor. However, he is going to drop down the opportunity to try and get Solvi. Pilot, he's going to hop up. I don't think he quite saw him, but Pilot did. He's going to get the kill on him. Obviously, another point, as he was carrying a gun. We are going to see Solvi going to the #1 slot as well with 262 points, all from just PvP.
Yeah, they were behind, I believe, but like we said, finding the PvP will net them those points. It's just going to be more loot rooms for them, as it seems like they're getting frustrated at this point. You know, where the hell could this TC be? They do have a few more garage doors in their way. Maybe it is behind this armored door. They don't think it's They looked at it and they're like, no, we're not going after another armored door because this base they've already gone through from what we've seen like about 3 or 4 armored doors. There's a few more on the outside. I'm surprised that they ended up using on the outside overall. We'll see though, as it looks like 3, maybe 4 members of Solvi currently inside the base, starting to boom again. Rockets going, C4 going as well. I feel like that C4 took so much longer. It almost felt like a satchel how long it took to blow.
They've already entered the loot room. Like they already have basically all the guns, all the boom. Really, they just need to find this TC so they can secure this raid and possibly move on. This is a little pocket that they've just started to boom here. Going back up, we are going to see ATL now going through all of these garage doors. Going back up. Lead to another path of doors. More and more C4 are going to go off.
Yeah, I'm a bigger fan of like the hallway meta. As
No.
opposed to the advent calendar meta. I think the hallway meta is just so much more time consuming, which is what this base is, I think, based around. Well, you can see with all the triangle foundations there that they're just trying to create as many doors as possible. Right now, the splash damage is starting to really take effect. You can see hitting multiple doors at the same time, getting through them, but somehow this TC is still hidden.
Good job. Kudos to them for hiding the TC, but something that I've noticed is they're really bad for keeping their doors closed, which really defeats the whole purpose of having a hallway meta. Really just something, maybe something they need to improve on. That does look like they're going to be looking more, obviously, to boom more into these hallways. I don't think they should go for that outside layer, obviously, as it is all just shooting layers, so they probably won't be hiding the TC in there. I'm suspecting... I don't even know where to suspect anymore. There's nowhere else for it to be.
Ooh, we do have a little bit of a defense coming out from Salty Boys, though. They were able to take out one of the raiders on the first floor down there. 2 people still alive, I believe, for the time being. As it looks like Solvi ended up cleaning them up. Never mind. As soon as that defense was mounted, it was gone. There's only 1 player alive inside of the base right now. Oh, again, opening the doors.
Down,
You gotta be careful here. All right, handing off some rockets to the looks like ATL to pick that one up, or actually it's gonna be Pilot now. There's only a few doors remaining, guys. We'll see. Is this gonna be it? Is this gonna be TC as we ends up picking up the plus 40 up against Trax? That was our number 6 team. And so our top 10 slowly getting whittled down.
Definitely not something I expected. Weed has been able to get 2 raids in the time that Solvi has been here. Really showing how much of a time-consuming base Salty Boys has made. They're going to go through every door possible. I think I can just imagine the Team BC where they're all just screaming at each other, wondering where the hell this TC could possibly be. You're going to have
I just feel like, 90% of the doors in the base, they've already taken them out. That's just gonna be a bedroom. So yeah, this is getting more and more frustrating for Solvi. Like you said, Weed have gone through 2 TCs so far in the time that it's taken for this one raid. Now, ultimately though, Solvi though, they've been keeping up at the very least, for the simple fact that the defenders haven't given up yet. They're trying to find guns, they're trying to defend. So PvP alone is what's keeping Solvi basically matching Weed, but now this lead is slowly starting to grow. It's a 22-point lead for Solvi. They got bots behind them. Just a couple TCs will allow bots to catch up to Solvi as well. But as the day goes on, as the raid phase continues, and as teams and bases start to dwindle, that leaves more and more room for counterers to come in.
TC, but they are going to meet up with the rest of the team, possibly going into this cubby here right next to it. I believe that is another entranceway into yet another hallway. It is a smart meta, the hallway meta. As you said, the advent calendar, you can build as many doors as you want in whatever time span, right? But the hallway, you have to go 1 door at a time, which is time consuming.
Ooh.
And definitely takes a long time, but armor.
That's 2 armored in a row.
We could finally be seeing the TC.
Are they running out of boom?
It is possible they're not throwing C4, they're resorting to the explosive ammo.
Oh, this
I
is
think
this
you're
could
right.
be like a pretty bad sign too, because like if they're running out of boom on this raid, they've already picked up a lot of they found a lot of the loot rooms already. So ostensibly, they've picked up the boom from this base and are utilizing it on this base. What happens in the second half of the raid phase? Are they gonna have to farm up for some more boom for their next raid?
Oh no, not a man going out with a jackhammer mid-raid. Mid, or sorry, yeah. Mid-raid, man, that just, oh man.
All right, here we go.
Oh, it
They
does
finally
like they
found a
were
man with
launching.
rockets at the very least. That's going to be ATL picking that one up. Is it here?
Oh,
Oh, thank
TC!
God. Oh, they were on their last legs for this one. They were scrounging their pockets. Everyone, pull out your pockets. Let's see
Yeah.
him. What do you got in there? You got some dimes? Okay, where we got some rockets. Finally, Salvi will be able to finish off the Salty Boys with a plus 40 there. That puts them into first place. And you know what, Griffin? I think this might be a good time for everyone to go ahead and take a short break. We're going to go ahead and take a short break from the action, but we will be back in a few minutes for some more Rustoria Base Invaders. All right, welcome back to Rustoria Base Invaders. We are getting back into the action. Just before the break, we saw Solvi finally finish off this raid. During the break, as a quick catch-up, Gamuma was able to finish off their raid up against Team Mom, and that's why they are currently in 4th place. Solvi, with their raid, puts them into 1st, but only 5 points behind them is going to be Team Weed. Now, joining on with another raid, it's going to be SJN on the defense, as Gamuma are actually getting countered by Zalupa. Coffee coming in as well from the other side. They need to go ahead and get down a raid platform from themselves. Espresso, Coffee User, all of them inside now, pushing up towards the base here. SJN do have an outside spawner though, so Coffee have to be careful. There we go. They clean them up. And on the other side, Zalupa dealing with this raid platform is going to help out on the defense.
Absolutely, and we can see the SJN base is currently being raided by the Coffee, as you said, but as well, these are two bases that are basically sandwiched together. We can see Gamuma on the left there getting raided by, I believe, Zalupa, or possibly coming over to attack SJN. But SJN has done a great job at defending so far. Back over here at the fun base, we can see both Money and Weed all throwing rockets at the base. We can see a massive hole in the compound, which basically stretches to the entire other side. Fun's base is currently getting absolutely screwed over here. You can see, again, giant hole in the middle, which exposes every door they have, possibly even exposing PC if they get lucky.
Core is just torn wide open for now. For Money and for the other squad, for Weed, it's all about just pummeling at this point. No one's able to quite push in yet. Fun do have defenders alive on the inside, but they need to start mounting up defense. They need a hope at some point that Money and Weed kind of turn on each other. But with the way that their raid platforms are set up, basically on opposite sides of this base, they have a little bit of exposure to each other. But honestly, with walls down, they could just safely kind of pummel from the outside. But that does come down to, of course, their resources, right? We are heading into the last 36 minutes of the raid phase here of Base Invaders. So people could be running a little bit dry in terms of boom. Now we do have 2 players coming out from Fun trying to push out. It's going to be Asus and Senya now. Oh, they pick up a few kills. Toxical trying to answer back, but he goes straight into the crosshairs of Asus. He ends up taking out 2 as they were trying to deal with the compound walls. And this could be the defense coming out from Fun if they can pick up some of that boom, get rid of the beds on the raid platform here.
Absolutely great defense there by Asus. You can't see Nerve there in the background, possibly coming in for a third party. So as you can hear that LMG coming out, Weed now trying to protect their spawn so that they can keep coming in. Senya is going to be able to push up. It's down to Toxical, who's going to get 1 kill, but unfortunately getting double teamed by Double and I'm Dennis, who are probably going to be able to get that boom, destroy the raid platforms. And I think that's going to be it for that team. And I believe the last member of Money, who is Nerm, obviously, is just now circling the base, maybe looking for some kills before, unfortunately, he has to leave. However, we can see the rest of at least 1 Fun member there in the distance as well. I did see the Weed member Monkey, but it could just be Senya finishing some kills.
Yeah, that was huge, and that's kind of the experience that shows for these players. I'm not as familiar with a lot of the EU players, and well, it's been a while since I've done Base Invaders, but for the simple fact that as soon as they saw the opening, all of the players were outside of the base pushing out. That shows the kind of veteran experience when it comes to raiding. Now take a look at Team Akoset. They are getting pummeled from like 4 different teams right now. Solvi's here, Orgy's here, along with what is that, bots and 1 other squad. 4 different teams right now. TS is here as well. Oh, you'd imagine that Akoset would be like the raid boss, right? You would imagine like this is the Solvi base and everyone's like, we have to take out 1st place. No, this is Akoset. They're currently in 8th place with 161 points. They shouldn't have that big of a target on their backs, but 4 teams currently now racing for this TC.
Wow. I don't know what they said to whoever, but man, everybody is mad right now, and they're all going to be rushing in to hopefully take it down. take down Akaset. And man, it is just a cluster hell for Akaset. That base has so many holes in it. So many people are getting killed. We're gonna see bots are just running in and C4ing all the boxes, all the beds. Nothing, no one lives anymore. Everyone's dead. We're gonna see a drill, possibly a C4 drill going down through that floor there. So we're gonna see more and more boxes go down. Akaset is panicking and doing whatever they can. We're seeing hold, and again, now he's dropped down to second floor. I cannot read that name as it's Russian. Doing the best they can. Wow.
Yeah. this is panic hour for Akaset. Like, what do you even do? There's like nothing you can do in this situation, really. You've got this, you know, essentially 20 players, right? This is a 20-player raid onto your base. You're trying to 5v20 online defense, but you're just getting absolutely pummeled at this point. A lot of their spawns were dealt with on the rooftop. There are a few beds still alive up there, but honestly, for how long at this point? Bots, you got 3 members inside of this base right now, trying to C4 and race through this as the pummels are coming from 3-4 different directions.
Wow. I mean, wow. Really, I don't even know what to say here. We see Sovi, we see bots, we see Akaset trying to defend, we see TS, we see Orgy, and like we do see some Akaset members who have pushed out to try and get rid of like spawns and try to get rid of people raiding, but there's just too, I don't know what you can do.
There's
like,
nothing.
They're everywhere.
I am inevitable. This raid is just inevitable. If it doesn't go down in the next minute, I would be surprised. You can see how quickly and efficiently that bots are currently moving in, but the hallways are slowing them down. You can see this is why you want to have the hallways instead of the advent calendars, because you only have access to 1, 2, 3 doors at a time. You have to slowly work your way on through.
No TC yet, but another 2 doors and another hallway to go through. I think it's just over for Akaset. I don't think there's anything they can do to try and salvage this raid. They're obviously gonna do their best to try and retake, do whatever they can to keep themselves afloat. But at this point, I don't think it's even possible. I think it's just done.
Like, yeah, at some point, you're like, there aren't even enough teams to like counter every raider. Right, every raider team here, like you're just hoping that 4 new teams show up, counter the raids on every side, and that's your only way. But I don't even know if we have enough teams available to be able to do that right now. We do have at least 9 alive right now, but in the final 30 minutes here, it is just looking more and more dire. If this base somehow survives for the next 30 minutes, it would be a miracle. If it survives the next minute, it would be a miracle, actually, to say the least.
Wow. I don't even know what I'd do in this scenario. Honestly, at that point, I'm just like, well, if I'm going down, I'm gonna go C4 bomb a bunch of people, and that's what I'd be doing right now. I'd be running around naked, throwing C4 at people. And I wouldn't even blame if Akaset just resorts to dumb shit and stop defense and stopping their defense, because there's nothing that you can do.
They're trying. We're seeing defenders still spawning in. YOLO is still alive, but I don't know if they got to the loot rooms or not, as we do have some fighting on the outside. Okay, Johnny was able to pick up a gun, get in, but now bots are coming back in full force. Almost the entire bots team is inside, and seeing that, it looks like the rest of the other raiding squads are trying to push in themselves. Deathwing for TS is out here. Vera has gone down on his approach to get back into the compound right now. But for the most part, the defenders have all gone down once again. So just on timer in every single way whatsoever. Akaset only have Johnny alive right now. This is looking more like bot space. You can see Nikita up top on the roof, peek down. Jon Snow inside of the base right now. Nikita ends up going down, but they still have K still alive, and here comes, I want to say, Anya. I have no clue how to read that. He actually ends up falling here, and so now Nikita's gonna try his best to defend this base while his team ends up trying to raid through the rest of this one. You can see the triangles meant to just slow things down as much as possible. All the doorways that they have to work through, and there's still so much more left.
it's a solid base that they've built here. It's actually quite a good base, and I commend them for that. But like, what do you even do?
Yeah.
What do you even?
I mean, if this was, you know, a 5v5, yeah, easy defense, right? Easy defense, but 20v5, like, that's almost impossible numbers, and there it is. It took a little bit longer, but only by a minute there. Bots ends up securing that, and that's comes down to the sole reason they were the first team inside. You know, you can see that the compound was breached on every direction the raids were coming from, but it was bots that ended up sending 3-4 members all with C4 to get inside and get through this base. They'll be able to pick that one up. That puts them into third place now. Griffin, Solvi, and Weed have still been trading positions off of PvP alone, but Solvi currently in first place with 342. Weed in second place with 330. SJN still getting raided here. Gamuma are inside the base along with Coffee. And we don't see many defenders inside right now. They are running in from outside spawns. And so things are starting to look dire for this raid defense.
Absolutely. Coffee is basically inside the SJN base. Like, this is just getting harder and harder for them to counter, really, although I think it's possible, obviously, with less teams than the other team is dealing with. But obviously, definitely hard, as we've seen a lot of doors getting blown. That's a lot of AKs on the ground too. Like, that's a lot of loot, as well as, you know, a lot of the doors being gone, a lot of the stuff being exposed. Like, Coffee's doing a great job of raiding SJM right now.
Yeah, he might have just gone through the boxes and picked up all their kits just to make sure that there isn't some sort of hero play made by a defender who spawns in, picks up an AK, and somehow kills some of the raiders. So he's just going to try and guard that best he can. And another base with that hallway design, and there it is. Coffee ends up finding it in the end. It was in one of the rooftop hallways there. Coffee now puts themselves into fourth place. They still have their work cut out for them. They are down by about, what is that, 64 points to bots, who are currently in third.
Oh yeah, 100 points to first, 60 points to bots. They've definitely got a long way to go if they want to win this event. And it's definitely going to be a very hard battle, as I imagine they'd have to eliminate Solvi and possibly Weed, or at least them getting eliminated at some point. However, fun is, it looks like they're not having all that much fun. I think their team name might be a little bit of a lie, as they are currently getting raided. Again, it looks like that hole that was made earlier that we were covering has not gone away. And in fact, I think it has grown. And I think this is becoming a bigger and bigger issue for Team Fun.
They've got people alive, though, at the very least, on the rooftops right now. It's going to be Senya and Double. Nerm, though, is inside for money. Tier is trying to join him as well. Double now. Don't know if he's got a kit on him to try and push out. No, never mind. Doesn't matter, because he's already dead. Weed, though, have slowed down on their approach right now. We only see the three members, BMW, Monkey. Vlad just pushed into the base right now, pushing in through that breach. Try and take advantage of the momentary lapse in this raid right now. You can see Tier is up here with that launcher in hand. And oh boy. Okay, we're getting to see the two different styles, right? We got the advent calendars. What? No, this is actually kind of like a advent calendars along with the hallways. So this is kind of surprising.
It does happen sometimes where they'll have advent calendars, and then they'll have like 3 off doors behind the advent calendars. Something that we've seen. I think I still prefer the full hallway meta, but definitely a different strategy where you can combine both, and it does definitely work. We have
and this core is just completely empty, so it leaves no question. Where is the TC? Well, in one of these advent calendar doors, and there's still a lot alive. So there is an opportunity for Fun to try and defend here. 25 minutes remaining here in the raid phase.
25 minutes for Solvi, really. Solvi's been on top this entire game so far. Obviously, we saw Money, who was remaining there for a bit, but Solvi took it over by over 120 points once raid began. And really, they've been dominating this tournament so far.
I'm wondering how much of that is just being able to just kind of piggyback off of huge lead that they ended up taking when it came to the attack phase, picking up a lot of the loot coming out from the attack helicopters, from the patrol helicopters throughout that attack phase. We saw M2 in the hands of a few members as well. So they did have a lot going for them transitioning into the raid phase. And now it seems like, teams might be running out of boom here when we do get to like the last third of the day. You kind of just start running out of gas. And right now, the rockets aren't flying anymore. I don't hear any more C4. Maybe players are back home trying to craft some up and get back to this raid.
Absolutely, Team Fun again. Now getting hit with rockets from a different side from Weed. It looks like they've set up a spawn platform to possibly go in more. Fun also being raided by Money as well. We do see some members running around Tier and Knowles inside the base, but only one person currently firing rockets. As we see Fun solo now moving in, they are possibly going to look for play maybe as a Vladislav has moved into the base, is going to get killed by doubles, and Dennis as they continue to go. Again, no TC so far.
Yeah, it seems like, just the outside rocketing right now coming out from Weed is just to purely deny the roof angles here, as we saw on the other side of the base that Weed were able to do, making sure that the defenders don't have an angle onto your raid platform that they can't rocket back at you for free. And they have basically gotten rid of that peak down for themselves, and just a few more rockets. Ooh, here comes Team Money pulling in with the scrappy. Now it's going to be a third team coming in for this raid right now. Tier is inside. And things are starting to look a little bit scary for Fun as they have to deal with more and more teams showing up to this raid.
Absolutely, we definitely don't want a repeat of Akaset, that's for sure. At least that's what Fun's not hoping for. I think it'd be really funny if it happened again, but, that's also just my personal opinion. As Fun continues to sort of scramble around trying to find a counter, Money obviously trying to set up a bed platform off there in the distance as Weed continues to move in, but it does look like that Fun has sort of regained control over the base, even with that massive hole in the front. But oh my god, Coffee now on the flank of Weed, setting up their own spawn platform as the rest of Coffee tries to move down and eliminate Weed. Coffee has come to counter and take this raid.
Oh no, this is going to be so tragic for Weed, as they just pulled up like 2 minutes ago. But again, Fun on the defense. Asus is out here, and remember, he was one of the critical members when we were on board with the raid defense earlier on for this base, where he got the initial frags. He allowed his team to push out from the base, from the compound, get onto the raid platform, but he ends up going down. But then really, this was more from Coffee's end, right? Coming in from the counter from behind. So very unfortunate for that squad, because all their work already going to waste, and all their boom as well. You have to imagine that's probably the rest of their boom for this raid phase.
Absolutely. We again doesn't look like they're being quite raided yet. However, whose base is this? This is Zalupa. Doesn't appear to have any members. I'm gonna go check. Hold on. What?
I think the last time we saw Zalupa, they were actually raiding themselves. So they might be out right now, and they are none the wiser about the raid going on at their base. If someone takes a look at the map, they will be able to see that the raid has started. They are working their way through the outer honeycomb, making their way into core now, and just exposing that one up. They haven't sent anyone to push into the compound, or at least open up that compound quite yet, as they're taking this opportunity to try and core as much as possible.
I do have news on the Zalupa team. Apparently they have forfeited the event and have left. Apparently they have said that they are all done playing, that they don't want to play anymore. They have left.
They're not on the leaderboard right now anyhow, so I can see why. Currently in 10th place with 87, so no real opportunity for them to try and catch up other than going for a YOLO play to take out our top leaders. But come on, guys, there was only 20 minutes left. You guys just finish
it. You may as well.
Yeah.
This is going to be 3 points then for Team Puma, who also isn't on the top leaderboard and yet continued to play. So maybe they should have stuck through.
Yeah, for
Definitely not
Gamuma,
the
during our break 20 minutes ago, they ended up picking up a TC, I believe. And so that was pretty big for them to at least keep them in the top 6. They are about 16 points behind Team Money, but over 140 behind our first place team, Solar V. But they are not giving
Hey
up
now.
here. They're going to continue to raid.
Perhaps with enough luck, they could win. With enough luck, it's possible. With a lot of lucky rocket shots, they could 100% take it. However, it's very, very slim chances. However, they're going to play it through anyways. You may as well. You signed up, you got up early if you're in NA, or you just showed up if you're in EU. And really, honestly, I think they're just happy to be here.
I mean, as long as you're not getting raided, right? You're happy to be here for sure. As long as you're not getting raided by 4 squads converging on your base. For Gamuma, they don't have to deal with counters. It looks like, I mean, they do have Knowles in here just lurking about. I don't know exactly what he's up to right now. Yeah, he's just absolutely creeping. Listen to him. Does he have a gun? He doesn't even have a gun on his back quite yet. I think he just showed up naked, looking to find anything.
He's trying to find something. However, I think he's going to go down immediately to a 1, 2, 3.
Not too sneaky.
Keep going. Wow. So, yeah, no, for Gamuma, this is going to be a free TC, unfortunately. But I think they're just going to keep going anyways. They may as well, right? Might as well just keep going, grab that TC, play out the event, and keep good sports about it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Not much headway being made on the leaderboard currently, as I believe we have about 2 raids currently going on right now. That was Fun's base, I believe, getting raided by about 3 different teams. So we'll check back in with them. Yeah, Coffee is currently inside right now. Money trying to push up as well. Remember, Coffee were the counterers that came in and cleaned up Weed, who are back. We're going to try a second time at this Fun base. Taking a look at this side of the base, though, a lot of that honeycomb has been dealt with. A few of the doors still remaining there. So Money still have a lot of work cut out for them. And with 16 minutes to go, I don't know if you've got the boom or the stamina to try and finish off this raid.
Absolutely. We have seen a lot of boom been used so far in this tournament, a little bit more as we saw. We started to see Solvi start to run out of boom as well. I think a lot of it got wasted on a lot of different bases, and I think a lot of people are starting to run out of boom. I think you're right. So it's possible that, you know, with everything going off and stuff, that people might start peeling back off of Fun Space. But as I say that, I immediately see 5 names, 2, 3 different teams to show up, and I go, I might have to eat my words. As we can see, the entirety of Money, the entirety of Weed, and the entirety of Coffee all now pulling up to raid Fun. It's always good when...
I think Vlad just stole that Scrappy from Money. and you know, it really doesn't do anything at this point, right? Because if you're so far away, if the Scrappy your way on in, oh, Zalupa ends up getting eliminated by Gamuma, who saw that happening. But anyhow, it's a little small moral victory to try and troll someone and steal away their Scrappy. Luckily for Money, though, they have a second Scrappy. They are just they are
one as
fine.
well. Wow. But keeping it going, it does look like Fun is somehow hanging on, even with that giant hole in their base. But you know, as I say that, I immediately see more and more people start to enter. It's Caster's curse, where we start to predict something, and then it immediately 180 flips on you. And always good as Tiago goes in to try and get Senya, but that M249 is going to come out, and he's immediately going to crumble. Arnita now as well, moving up to possibly try and take down the M2 guy, but no armor, no nothing, falls to the death after falling off of a ladder. And that is
honestly, I think everyone's just out of boom at this point. Out of boom at this point. And now we're just PvPing for fun.
Yeah, we see no rockets flying, nothing's getting destroyed. I think a lot of the boom got wasted or despawned or something.
For Weed, I think this is their best opportunity, right? I don't know what Solvi's been up to, but for Weed, they were here earlier on. If they can get a little bit of presence, they can at least get PvP to try and catch up. There's one kill going their way, and so now they cut the lead down to 11. This is their opportunity in the final 14 minutes to try and catch up with Solvi, but it looks like Solvi found some PvP of their own too. So it's just going to be a race. It's going to be a foot race between Solvi and Weed to try and see who comes out on top in 14 minutes.
Fun is just going to keep sort of maintaining that base. At this point, Solvi just needs to stay ahead of Weed through PvP. However, we haven't seen much of Solvi so far. We obviously saw Gamuma make that raid, but we came back to Fun base, and I don't see Solvi anywhere. I'm wondering how they're continuously getting those points.
Yeah, we on the tail end when they finished off that raid, they were scrambling to find rockets. They were trying to explode their way through armored doors, and that's definitely not what you want during a raid, because that is extremely slow. So I think everyone's just out of boom at this point. So it's all coming down to PvP here. Coffee still trying their hand at this, picking up whatever guns they can, trying to find anything, but there are so many bodies here. Hey, we've got some C4. It's through a wall. They're going for a Hail Mary play at this point, but I don't know if it's gonna actually be anything at all. No, it's just a drop down.
At that point, I don't even blame him for just throwing C4 everywhere, you know? If he's got it, he may as well use it, right? So
yeah. 12 minutes left to go. Just go for it at this point. For Team Coffee, they are currently in 5th place. Only a few points behind Gamuma. Oh! Team Bots ended up taking out TS. What?
That's going to put them in the first.
Wow. Solvi, okay. You got to do something now. Solvi and Weed, they both have to get involved. 10 points between Bots and Solvi. About 19. Never mind, make that 22 for Bots. As they are starting to grow this lead. Wow, that came out of nowhere.
Bots wasn't even one of our top scorers during the attack. In fact, they've been close to the bottom of the leaderboard basically this entire time. And they've made a miraculous comeback. They've gotten a first. Wow. Definitely not something I was expecting. However, it is only an 11-point lead on Solvi, and I think Solvi needs to needs to turn it up and get PvPing fast. I think they thought that they had their lead secured there for a little while, but then Bots out of nowhere being able to take them down. Not something I was expecting.
Yeah, now this is where your decision making really comes into play, right? Do you want to try and go for a miracle raid with 11 minutes to go and maybe try to go after Bots? But the thing is, with 11 minutes, your likelihood of finishing off a raid is extremely low. And so you would fail the raid. That would be the raid defense for Bots. That just grows their lead. Like, how do you approach this? Well, I think the only answer at this point is just to go for PvP. Just try to find any action on the map and get involved there, because that's not a huge lead for Bots. It's only about an 11-point difference now. Solvi needs to find the fights and just go there and just try and keep pace with them.
Doing the best that they can. Fun obviously just needs to maintain their base. Like we said before, everyone's basically out of boom except for Bots. Apparently they had lots stockpiled. But at this point, everybody's just PvPing and finishing out the match, and I think that's for the best. However, we're going to see a rocket fly into the side of Fun's base. I think somebody has shown up with maybe a couple more rockets to start raiding again, maybe. Vladislav rolling up on BMW there in the corner. He's going to look. Oh, those are teammates. Oh, look at me go, not reading clan tags.
Yeah, I think for Weed, they just kind of need to give up on this raid. I don't know if they're going to be able to, like, unless they have all 5 players just rocket pummeling, the chances of being able to finish off a raid here in the next 10 minutes is extremely low. So either rocket pummel or go for PvP. So they need to kind of churn and go after money on the other side of this one and try to farm up kills there, or just hope that more action comes their way. But for now, it looks like Bots and Solvi, they are just fragging out. They are continuing to put up points. Bots have picked up about 8 points from PvP in the last minute alone. Solvi as well trying to keep up, but Slowly, that lead is growing. It's a 14-point difference between them. Weed, though, getting some action as Coffee coming in from behind. And honestly, that's the best thing that can happen for them. They are not finishing this raid. They need to take the PvP, but they need to be aware of it. Monkey with the wall out doesn't even have any heals for himself. As he goes for the peek, he gets instantly cleaned up. Wall coming around the corner. Vladislav is going to try and hold it down as his teammate actually falls. And
wow,
looks like Weed's big opportunity to come up with PvP kills are just gone like that.
And again, they're doing their best, right? It doesn't look like any other raid is going on. Everything is around here at Fun's base. And if they're not in Fun's base, I believe they're either maybe trying to farm for more boom or something. We can see Kamuma now showing up in the distance to start going up, as well as Hollow there on the left. I think everybody's starting to converge on the Fun base. As we can see, we can really hear no boom, and we haven't heard any boom for probably the last 10-15 minutes here at the Fun base. As I say that, Coffee user now is whipping out some rockets, but again, those are few and far between. Doing what they can to pick up some PvP points. But Bots is somehow getting PvP points as well. They are getting kills, and I haven't seen them here either. I'm wondering if they're fighting Solvi.
It's just a duel between Bots and Solvi at this point, and Bots are winning 16, or actually more than that. Yeah, 16 points of the lead currently. This is looking like kind of like classic Rust at this point, right? We're getting to snow roams. It's just snow AK PvP. Walls going down. Everyone's just like, hey, shooting, let's go and get involved in this fight. So Gamuma show up right now, and so we have basically half of the rest of the lobby all converging on Fun's base right now. And again, it was such a good base and really good defenders coming out from them there.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I didn't realize, Orgy is still in. It's not just Fun. Orgy is still here at 120 points. They are skin of their teeth still here.
You see, Zalupa, you never give up. You never give up. Taking a look at the Solvi base, though. Yeah, hasn't seen much action. Hasn't. Yeah. They haven't needed to, because I believe, a lot of the Solvi targets were the bases around them, which is why we see basically nothing around them. And so they don't have to worry. And now we just got to figure out, where the hell are they? There's 6 minutes left to go. They need to catch up. They need 16 points. It's completely doable. They know that the raid's going on. You can see when you open up your map, you get that kind of raid zone that goes down, so you know where the action is. Taking a look at Team Orgy right now, looks like they are defending up against Bots, who are going for a last Hail Mary raid just to try and keep this lead, but this is also giving them that PvP.
Yeah, 100%. And you're going to continue. Nolik there at the back is going to get a rocket fired at him. Wow, it's not something I expected. To throw a rocket at him, especially since of how broke everybody is. So I don't know, but obviously the one thing that Bots don't want right now is for somebody to go and attempt to raid Solvi, because I don't think they have enough time to finish it, therefore giving them that raid protection points at the end of the game, which could propel them in the first place. Bot needs them to be completely left alone.
Yeah, for Bots right now, this is basically their victory on 6 minutes left to go. And I love that they, are still going to try and go for this, even with 6 minutes. They chose the right target, though, because this is an absolute last place team currently right now, as the Rockets are coming in. They've got 3 people right now rocketing and pummeling the side of this base. Orgy, they do have 1 player outside, just spawned in on an outside bag, so he's not going to be actually much help. They are rocketing back on the other side, though. Orgy, what have they been doing this entire time? They still have rockets back at base right now, but oh man, rocket PvP, the pommel of the walls going down, as Bots are going to try and go for it. This last minute sprint. 2 rockets going out on the Bots, or towards the Bots right now, as their combat walls are falling here. They have more walls in store for them. Jon Snow has pushed up. It looks like Nikita with some C4 to get rid of all these compound walls to make it that much easier for themselves. Ooh, okay. Tron was able to actually pick up a gun, took down Jon Snow, but he ends up going down as Nikita backs him up. I thought they had C4. I thought they were trying to boom through the compound, but not quite yet.
down but not out. 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining as they continue this raid anyways. It looks like they're gonna throw down, possibly trying to get through that compound wall. I thought that Nikki was placing C4. I think that you and I were both wrong there, as more and more rockets are getting thrown outside the top of the base as they're going to try and get out. It does look like Maxim, though, is moving up towards the compound doors. That could be bad if he tries to open them. Nikia is going to get away with 1 health. 1 health by winning that duel, as that rocket is going to fly off into the abyss. Orgy having trouble aiming their rocket launchers as more and more rockets get pummeled into this base. 3 minutes and 50 seconds left. Can bots get that TC in that time?
They don't even need it. Honestly, the PvP is all they need at this point, right? Just to keep pace with Solvi. For Solvi at this point, with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to go, they need a miracle TC, and they're not going to do it on Fun's base. That's the only base that's made any progress towards a raid. So things are looking real bad. It looks like bots might be securing the dub, but hey, anything can happen. 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Orgy still on the defense right now. Tamada pushing out to try and get onto that raid platform. He does have a really wide swing on the other side of this hill, but if he can creep up, he could try and put a stop to it. Maxim just never able to get a gun into his hands, but you can see why they put so much work into the roof, going straight up with those ladders. The defender ends up going down. Jon Snow survives as well, and it looks like, yeah, they might have full control over this base now.
Jon Snow just ate that rocket in the back, I think, from his team. I think friendly fire has been disabled for this tournament, and he obviously taking that rocket to the back must it's just kind of funny to me, but that splash is going to hit everything around him, which is nice, as they are going to be now entering the roof, entering the base. They can see the auto turrets. They are doing whatever they can. They are hoping and praying for ATC as they throw C4 at the auto turrets. Orgy doing what they can to defend, though. Really, they need to find that TC really early if they want to truly secure this. 40 points will put them in the lead, but Solvi has gained 10 points since I last checked, and is currently 25 points out from bots.
Yeah, Solvi just needs to get involved in like what's going on up on the fun side of the map, where they had about 3-4 teams up there. That's really their only opportunity, and it's not enough just to like wipe the teams once. You need to like wipe the teams twice at that point. So I love that bots just did not rest on their laurels. They didn't slow down. They found another raid, because raid at least gives you PvP at the end of the day. And so they are really being able to succeed there in that regard. You can see basically that they've been able to grow the lead and keep that lead. Here comes Maxim, though. He's got something in his hands. He's got an AK and a kit. He's on the raid platform now, coming in for the flank, and this could be the raid defense. 1 minute and 17 seconds left to go. Bots are fully inside of the base right now, scrambling to try and use up all of the rest of their boom, going for that miracle TC to have the resounding win at the end of the day. But again, just this aggression has really gone to favor them, has really allowed them to keep this lead almost 30 points now from what was only about like a 10-point lead earlier on. So a huge play coming out from bots really came out of nowhere. We thought it was just going to be Solvi and Weed to finish out the day, but bots with that last TC they took about, what, 10 minutes ago, has really been able to secure this dub for them. So with 30 seconds left, I'm just going to go ahead and call it. They're still going, though. The C4 going down. Bots with a great win at the end of the day.
I think Solvi's biggest mistake at the end of the day was that they just stopped, right? They got to a decent lead, and then they just sort of stopped. I think they sat in their base and sort of prepared in case somebody tried to come get them or something like that. They just stopped playing, really. We can now see Solvi coming in, trying to raid bots, and I just don't think it's going to matter. Too little, too late. Bots going to come out on top.
Yeah, huge comeback victory coming out from bots. Solvi and Weed were just trading back and forth that top spot, but bots getting that dub was huge. I think one of the bigger contributors to this was that Solvi threw so much at their last raid. We saw how desperate they were to try and finish that off, that they were resorting to just exploding through armored doors, running out of
Yeah.
boom. And so they might have been maybe, they were back at base trying to craft some more boom up or trying to scrounge for whatever they could. Don't know exactly what was going on because we were, of course, keeping on board with Fun, who were defending up against two or three other squads at that point. But yeah. Congratulations, the bots. They are our leaders. Let's go ahead and take a look at their overall stats. 3 raids completed. No one even touched their base. And the kills, that's what's going to be important as well.
278.
278 kills to the 182. So their KDA looking nice for themselves. They were also able to take down a heli. And you know what? The heli crates looted actually did come out to be a huge difference maker for them. I mean, 5 crates looted, that amounts for a lot of the lead that they have up against Solvi.
It is true. 15 points towards their lead is what that heli was there, as well as, unfortunately, they didn't touch the hard point at all. We didn't get to see them, but Nikita is going to be their top fragger with 105 kills, which is basically a third of their kills came out of that one person. Gigi coming out with 71, Jon Snow with 41, something in Russian with 35, and K with 26. All around, not a huge difference between the bottom 3, but the top 2 really. We're just two great PvPers.
Yeah, I mean, Nikita getting the Gavin into his hands, definitely doing some work there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the story of the tape for the rest of the squads. If we can take a look at Solvi. So only 2 raids completed for them. And really, that second raid took up, I want to say, a good half of the raid phase. And I think that just slowed them down so much. You can see that, in terms of kills, they weren't that far off, 260. And so they were keeping up with them in terms of PvP. There is a difference there in the heli crates looted, the 9 to the 5 that bots had. And so the huge difference maker at the end of the day was that last raid that bots were able to finish off. And so massive raid for bots to try and finish it off, and of course keeping up with the PvP at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And of course, team top frag Ugly Steven, who we saw controlling that roof point and getting his team in. Honestly, really good work from him. Pilot was 60, something in Russian with 48. I'm assuming that's Squinting Eyes with 43 and ATL with 35. All around, not too big of a kill difference going singular, but really, they just did quite well. And I think if they hadn't stopped and had gone and participated in that fun-based raid, I think they would have won.
I think they were like on the opposite side of a map though. So maybe they didn't even have like a helicopter to go over. I don't know. There are so many things to consider when it comes to base invaders. We had 20 teams, I believe, competing today. That's 100 players throughout all of this. So there was a lot of action. Let's go ahead and take a look at Weed's stat line to see where they squared up. So they had 3 raids completed, 3 raids defended. Wow, I didn't even see that. Along with 214 kills. So amongst our top 3, all of them cracking over 200 frags. But there is a sizable difference in terms of kills overall. And they were not able to. Oh, wait, no, they did secure actually 3 heli crates for themselves. So they were involved in a lot in all phases of this game, both in the attacking phase and in the raiding phase. They were definitely busy. 3 raids and 3 defenses. That's absolutely insane.
Absolutely, and I do believe that the hardpoint control time is broken because I think Sylvie was on it for a little bit, but I could be wrong. However, they did quite well for balancing kills, 214 to 203 for kill-death ratio, so basically 1 kill per death, with Toshelvi coming out with, I believe that's 60, Vladislav with 45, Toxico with 45, Monkey with 36, and BMW with 28. Pretty balanced all around. And they did pretty good.
Yeah, and honestly, today was a pretty fun day. Getting back into casting some Rust. I had a fun time doing EU base invaders, but we will be back for NA base invaders not too long from now. We did have a delayed start for today's EU events, but NA hopefully will be on schedule. The games will start at around 11:15, but the broadcast won't start until about 11:45. That's Pacific time here in the US. So keep an eye on that. That means we will be back in about an hour or so. So if you guys want to watch some more Base Invaders, make sure you're following the channel here. Shout outs to, of course, Rusty Pot for making this happen, and Rustoria, of course, for putting this on, providing the servers, of course, allowing us to bring you this broadcast. For Griffin and myself, though, we're going to go ahead and take a short break, and we'll be back in about an hour's time for NA. Griffin, I'll see you then.